Hello, everyone. Hi, and welcome to All Things Ascension, episode 15. Today we're talking about evolving and elevating superconscious perception. I'm going to talk about what are the 4 levels of mind, what superconscious perception is, why it's important, and why now more than ever it is so important to have perceptual diversity, which includes using our superconscious level of awareness very keenly and with intention and focus. So I'm going to wait and see who else is going to jump on. And for those of you who celebrate, happy Easter Sunday. So, hey, hello, let me know you're here. Say hi. I'm going to get some water here. And I'm going to share some information about my new masterclass starting May 27th, ESP, Elevated Superconscious Perception. It's going to be a 5-week masterclass for anyone who wants to dive deeper into the superconscious in a very guided way, using some breath work, accessing some powerful ways of healing, and moving whatever you're endeavoring to do in your practice forward in a really powerful and focused and centered way by being in the God's eye view, soul streaming your consciousness, in other words, to connect any disenchanted, just disenfranchised parts of self back into unity. That's what happens when we work with the superconscious. And I'm going to take you through a little exercise today. We are working with the God's eye view. We are working with soul streaming. I'm going to take you through an exercise at the end of the talk here. So, evolving and elevating superconscious perception. Why is this important? Why do we need to focus more on the superconscious perception? I will have something to share with you about that. But we can't understand the superconscious without looking at the 4 levels of mind. So I want to talk about that first. So we've been taught largely that there are 3 levels of mind. The conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious. But there are actually 4 levels of mind. The superconscious, and looking at that, is something that is fairly new in terms of kind of parsing out and looking at the superconscious, or the bliss field, the bliss mind of the unified self, the unified field. So let's start with the unconscious. So the unconscious is non-local. So when you think of, let's just say, the conscious mind having a place in the brain where it is actually focused, and we'll talk about where that is, the unconscious is really the deep recesses that go beyond any localized place in the brain. It could also be looked at as the collective, but the superconscious is too, because the collective mind is something that comes from the fourth dimension, and that is a very dualized split frequency realm, 4D, between very light and very dark forces. So you can have the unconscious streaming through the permeable reality from 4D into 3D, and the unconscious can be part of the collective mind, the collective hive mind, but it is really suppressed feelings, it's suppressed desires, phobias that exist. They're largely parts of your past and memories that remain unexplored. And it is the collective mind that is untapped and unexamined as well. And when I am sharing the ESP Masterclass, which I'm super excited about, which starts at the end of May, we're going to talk about this in a lot more depth and detail, but I want to break these down for you here so you can have some context for understanding the superconscious. So next is the subconscious. And you may think, okay, well, you're describing the unconscious, that kind of sounds like the subconscious. There are actually 2 different realms of mind, 2 different levels of mind. So the subconscious is actually a record of all knowledge. It's a record of all knowledge that's physical, biological, planetary, It is stored knowledge, okay? All of our experiences, we have a record of it. So many of you maybe don't know, I'm a licensed hypnotherapist. And when I used to have my brick and mortar practice, I worked a great deal with the subconscious mind to help people change behaviors. And a lot of the reasons why hypnotherapy is so powerful and positively propels people's lives forward out of habituated ways of being, behaviors that are not so good for that person, is because there's a lot of record keeping in your subconscious of the reason why you got into that behavior, that way of being, that habituation or conditioning in the first place. And your subconscious keeps a record of all of that. So anything that ever happened to you and anything that ever happened to the planet, to humanity, the Akash, the records of the universe, it's all stored in the subconscious, okay? So, as well as all impressions that you have. So feelings that you've had about any experiences, it's all recorded. It's all part of the subconscious. It is that survival instinct level of being. It's the reptile brain, and it's in the brainstem. So as a location, the subconscious has that place in the brain that holds the survival instinct level of being, but it's always an incomplete experience. Everything that's expressed as part of the subconscious, if it doesn't come up into the light where it can be examined and, well, discovered and examined, because a lot of our subconscious programming is undiscovered as of yet and unexamined. If it's not currently a part of focused awareness by the conscious mind, then it is an incomplete experience, okay? And whenever we have incomplete experiences, we tend to live a kind of truncated life. We tend to live a life that's cut off from our wholeness, and there's that survival instinct programming again. So that's the subconscious. And then we have the conscious mind, okay? This is related to the midbrain and the limbic cortex. The conscious mind is really interesting because this is what gives us a sense of individuation and a sense of self. Conscious mind doesn't know anything. The conscious mind doesn't store anything. It contains no memory. It acts as a point of awareness in waking alpha brain states. So it's that vantage point that gives us the experience of being an individual. It tells us, I am that. And it's completely relational. So the conscious mind, all it's telling you, all the information that it has to give you is who you are or what you're doing in relation to or relative to something else. That's the focus of the conscious mind. It is the midbrain and the limbic cortex. And then we have the superconscious. So where the subconscious relates to the body, because it has a lot of behavioral conditioning attached to it, and where the conscious mind is literally mind, superconscious is spirit, okay? So the superconscious is actually beyond the mind, beyond the body. If you could locate it in the brain, though, there is a lot of stimulation of sensory perception related to superconscious states that happens in the neocortex, okay? And in the heart. The upper four chakras, too, contain information and jumping off points, connection points, transmission and reception points for connecting into superconscious realms. And the superconscious, it sees, it knows levels of consciousness beyond material reality. It is the God's eye view of you, the soul's point of view. This is where we connect into soul streaming, which is what we're going to do as part of the ESP Masterclass as well. This point of view of the superconscious, this vantage point, this level of awareness, it taps us into the eternal now. So this is where we are beyond time and space, where everything exists simultaneously and is omnipresent. In other words, everywhere, everything, all at once. Okay? Every time, all at once. And it unifies all that is into universality. And you could call this the quantum field, the unified mind of God, one pure source being, whatever name you like to give it, it's the unified field and level of consciousness where everything is in a flow or wave state, uninterrupted, undistorted. It is the superconscious is the gateway to the quantum field level of awareness, where you have this uninterrupted, unfragmented connection to all of the universe existing in a wave state. There is no particle break or fragmentation. It is the wave state. It is flow. It is infinite timelines. It is infinite realities. It is infinite probabilities and possibilities. So why is the superconscious important? When we think of connecting into the superconscious, naturally our mind goes to, oh, okay, meditation. So when I plug into meditative states, meditation, yes, absolutely. It's a springboard for accessing the bliss mind of the unified self, the unified field. The unified field is to be the unified self. If you are at that vantage point of awareness, that soul's point of view, that God's point of view of who you are not fragmented when you connect into that field. There is no individuation. There is no conscious mind that says, I am separate from that. All separation occurs in the conscious mind. And the mind's need to hesitate, drop into time, and separate. Okay? That doesn't exist in the superconscious level. You are connected into the wave, the unending flow, uninterrupted flow of the unified mind of all it is. It is a bliss state. Naturally, meditation is a springboard for accessing that. But meditation is wonderful if you just want to sit and bliss out. And that's an excellent thing, and we need to do that more as human beings. But what are we talking about if we were to focus and direct ourselves into the flow with purpose and intention, with an ask, in other words? Then what we're doing when we enter into the superconscious flow state is making ourselves a magnet for retrieving information. We're going into the flow of the unified field through the superconscious, this soul stream connection. And we allow ourselves to become a magnet for retrieving information that is beyond the mind, which is the conscious state of awareness, which is separation, and beyond the body, which is the subconscious, which is only stored information from past experiences. So that's not a good place to go to if you're looking for something that is beyond anything that's already occurred, right? If you're just looking into a data bank of information of stored levels of experiences, things that have already happened in your past, what good is that if you're trying to access new levels of being, new ways of being, new creative ideas, new outlets for manifesting and materializing reality that hasn't been done by you or anyone else before? What business do you have going into the conscious mind or the subconscious mind? And your efforts in endeavoring to go into that data bank for information, you're going to come up short every time. Yes? So when you're going into this flow of the superconscious, making yourself a magnet for retrieving information by having a specific ask or intention, directing your soul stream flow of the superconscious in this unified field. You're accessing information that's beyond the mind, beyond the body, and you're accessing true healing in this place. You're accessing wholeness. You're accessing completion. You're accessing a sense of freedom of spirit. There are no tethers on you. There are no boundaries in going into the superconscious states. You are accessing pure love, uninterrupted, undistorted. You are accessing pure unity. You are accessing pure peace. You are accessing trust. You are accessing surrender. You are accessing flow. You are accessing untapped as yet levels of creativity and imagination. You're accessing all of this, and it's coming from a place of superconscious connection. So when you apply the superconscious level of perception to the problems and the challenges that you're experiencing in your everyday life and your reality, you realize when you're connected more into the state of flow, that when you have any problem, challenge, issue, in the superconscious mind, the information that you're getting is that the problem or the question and the answer exist in the same instant and are in the same place, and they always exist together. And this is quite different than the way we approach our problems and challenges from a conscious point of view, where it's always, if you're in your conscious waking alpha state of daily heightened activity and survival instinct level of being mostly, from that truncated level of awareness, when you're seeking out the answer to a problem, I'm here. Here I am in my problem. And the answer is over there, somewhere. It is outside of me. In the superconscious perception, you lose that boundary, you lose that barrier, so that the question and the answer exist together and in the same instant. Anytime you are working from a subconscious level even, which is a great place to go into, not all of us have the luxury of going into hypnotherapy. Not everyone wants to go into hypnotherapy, but you can source out a lot of answers to challenging issues in your life from that state. You absolutely can. But it doesn't necessarily, in that same place, give you the answer, because you're still in a truncated and contracted state of awareness there. The reason why the problem showed up can certainly show up at the subconscious level, but what to do with that doesn't necessarily show up in that space. But when you're in the superconscious realm, all of that is existing in the same space. It encompasses everything that's those contracted spheres of reality within a much bigger bubble, and it's all there. So which makes more sense? Going to the place that holds the bigger bubble of answers and solutions, because the superconscious is a very much solution-based realm that is right there, ready for you to excavate, explore, discover, and have euphoric states of release at the same time. And a sense of connection that allows you to feel unified and whole. We don't necessarily get that if we're sourcing out answers to our problems in the conscious state or even the subconscious state. The subconscious state doesn't necessarily relax us into states of mind or release the same level of brain chemicals that make us feel blissed out in a unified state. That would be the superconscious realm. So when people go on journeys for release, to access euphoric states, to work on deeper problems, a lot of people will go on journeys where they take hallucinogens. And they can take ayahuasca or peyote or mushrooms or whatever they do. We have a lot of the past kind of reluctance around, especially psilocybins, taking mushrooms. You know, there are people who do guided journeys for people taking psilocybins and mushrooms so that they can get some answers to their problems, so they can go through a deep healing experience, have intense emotional releases and remove trauma and blocks, and then have that euphoric release. But no drug can make you have this experience. It's the chemicals in the brain that allow you to have the experience. And you don't have to go on an ayahuasca or peyote or psilocybin journey for emotional release and euphoric states, because it's all about accessing those chemicals in the brain. You can do it too through the breath and through holotropic breathing, through neurodynamic breathing techniques. People have done this before. What I have done in the past, and which isn't what I'm going to be doing again as part of ESP, an Elevated Superconscious Perception Masterclass, is soul streaming breathing, where it's not nearly as intense as holotropic breathing or neurodynamic breathing, but it is this way to make yourself a gateway to the superconscious state, where euphoric states of release are possible, euphoric states of bliss are possible, and it's just a means of connection. And it's not nearly as tense as those other modalities that can be sometimes a little too traumatic. Sometimes it re-induces trauma in people because those breathwork sessions can be really, really intense and almost too potent for some people. But you can access incredible levels of emotional healing, release, a sense of completion, bringing a challenge that has left you feeling fragmented or less than whole in your life. There can be incredible restorative places of healing with just using that breath work as your gateway and connecting with the superconscious and soul streaming, which is where you are basically in your soul's point of view of its interaction as a soul. What is the divine destiny and path of you? You're in that God's point of view of essentially remote viewing it, of having an astral projection of you doing the thing, being the thing, having the thing, retrieving all the information that is parallel to it, okay, or lateral to it, that allows you to make changes in your behavior, in your attitudes, opinions, etc., in your everyday waking reality to bring this destiny to you in a lot more accessible and accelerated way. But here's the thing about this level of perception, the superconscious level of perception. It is now more important than ever, really, to be able to access this level of awareness. We've gotten as far as we can, and we've gotten as far as we can get, really, with raising the vibration of ourselves, the collective and the planet, from the vantage point of our current level of consciousness. We've gotten as far as we can get with that. We still have a lot of unhealed subconscious memory of ourselves and the planet creating and directing our reality. We have a lot of unconscious collective hive mind stuff that's not clear, that is not cohesive, that is creating harmonic divergence, that is actively creating and directing our reality. So losing perceptual diversity is a real problem for us on the planet right now. It is so important for us to have access to diverse levels of perception that allow us to move past the limited and often false feedback of the five senses, where it's relegated to the subconscious mind and the conscious mind respectively, and to transcend knowledge that reaches us through empirical science, quantification, rationalization, reductive and deductive thinking. We're still, working with a lot of the Newtonian laws of cause and effect here in 3D, and it is a lot of which shapes the science and the alchemy of 3D. Yet we are actively moving into a 4D portal of awareness. We are dipping our toe in the threshold of 5D. Many of us who are doing the work, looking at our shadow, healing our shadow, moving towards unity consciousness, and all of our thoughts, feelings, acts, endeavors, and deeds, and attitudes and opinions, we're moving towards this level of being. The only thing that lines up with that as a level of awareness, really, is superconscious perception. Am I offering this as a one-on-one offer now? No, this is going to be, to answer Gigi's question, ESP, Elevated Superconscious Perception Masterclass. It's a group program, and because of the nature of it being very intimate, and I want to be giving a lot of support and guidance to you in this space, it's only going to be open to 10 people, and there's only 9 spots left. And the last day to get the breath work, yes, I do sessions with people on that. And you can contact me or DM me about that. But for the group program, we are going to be doing some of this breath work in this program. So we're losing our diversity. It's so important to look at this, and we're losing levels of perceptual diversity. There are still many, many cultures on this planet who are connecting into the superconscious all the time, doing the great work for themselves, their communities, and for the planet. The Aborigines are a great example of that. They are working quite a bit in dream time to heal the collective inhumanity that's happening. They have been doing this for thousands of years, I would say. But we're losing through a lot of cultural diversity that's becoming globalized. What's going right alongside that is hand in hand. We're losing our diversity in so many ways in this age of globalization and rapid development, technological advancement. We keep moving towards AI. We are losing more and more of our humanity. We're losing more and more of our perceptual diversity. And it's really hurting us the most, especially in understanding how the whole of a system works. When you are in the superconscious level of perception, you understand the wholeness of a system. You're not fragmenting things and looking at the sum or part of a whole and then creating an incorrect and incomplete assumption about the whole of a system. This is how our brains work when we are in constant rationalization, deductive and reductive thinking, empirical thinking. The whole of a system and how it works is related to the realm of superconscious perception. And we're losing this. It's beyond the scope of our rational linear analysis. And it's not that I'm poo-pooing these things. We need these things, and they've been very beneficial in terms of advancing technology. Yet we still have these ancient brains that are working with very old hardware. So often in ways that the technology is advancing in ways that our brain can't catch up in how we use it. And it's causing stress in our bodies and in our lives because we're being expected to advance at the level of AI and technology, which is not relegated to the realm of human. Okay? We are negating our own humanness as we lose perceptual diversity. So when we take ascension, for instance, the whole of this process requires diversity in our cognitive processes so we can kind of comprehend it, not understand it, but comprehend it, and have it land in us in a way where we feel it and know it. And in order to grasp the enormity of what the evolution of human consciousness entails as we move into unity consciousness and to harmonic convergence of 5D, we have to be able to transcend the linear mind and the rational thought processes in order to grasp the magnitude of ascension and what it all entails as a whole. And then to evolve this system, because ascension isn't a finite place. It's not a place we arrive at. We're not going anywhere. It's accessing ever increased and stepped up levels of awareness. Ascension is a process. It's not something that occurs in a vacuum, and it's not finite, and it's not an event. It's a continual process. It's not a singular event. And so if we ever hope to understand this and move the system along, because it's humans and our levels of consciousness that will move and step up the process of ascension and keep it going, we either can exist right alongside it and have this parallel reality exist of ascension, because it is happening, it's already there, because the eternal now, everything is happening at once. Ascension is now. So we either can participate in it fully, or it just is a parallel reality that exists alongside us. Superconscious connection and levels of perception is what bridges that gap so we can make that kind of quantum jump to be in the process instead of existing alongside of it. And so meditation and trance states, altered levels of consciousness, these are all jumping off points, springboards for going into superconscious perception. But when we're in this place and we're directing ourselves through the stream of knowledge, making ourselves a magnet by having an ask and intention, we have a whole different level of relationship with superconscious perception. You know, we can see meditation as these kind of brief interludes where we opt out of the hustle and grind of survival state and subsistence levels of consciousness. And that's great, and a lot of us need that. But this is the springboard and the foundation or the bedrock for going much, much deeper in directing and navigating the direction of humanity towards unity consciousness going forward, to direct our lives so that we feel a sense of wholeness and completion. If we don't feel whole and complete and healed and witnessed and feel love and unity and peace within ourselves, how are we going to give a shit about the collective? Right? How are we going to give a crap about unity consciousness? Again, superconscious perception is that portal. It's that vessel. We have to become balanced with our left-brained analytical processes and cognitive processes. We have to take even these left-brain cognitive processes and maybe even supersede that by having cognitive states that allow us to access the superconscious realms and feel comfortable constantly moving into that state of reality, moving into the wave states where anything and everything is possible. And what we have seen as proven truth or proven reality is really illusory. And yet we're creating our whole idea of ourselves and the world around this proven illusory state of being. That's only going to get us so far. And it's certainly not going to get us to a place where we ascend and can evolve with that process and sustain that vibration within us. So ESP, or elevated superconscious perception, is the ability to access and explore levels of consciousness and extract precious and sacred information that aligns us with our highest good, the highest and best good of all. And with the least amount of resistance for all involved. In other words, to make the God choice and align with that in all of our beliefs, our actions, our endeavors, our thoughts, attitudes, opinions, our feelings. We're in this gateway period, and it's a very pivotal time in our humanity. It's powerful, it's palpable, it's electric, and it's here, and it's now. And we are all being asked to make the choice, like, how deep do you want to go with this? Do you want to get off the ride and leave the amusement park, or do you want to keep going and ride all the rides? Because this is what we're being asked, right? So when we go back from, or pull back from the contracted and linear mind, and we allow our awareness to go up and out, we really allow for, much liberated, untethered levels of creativity and imagination. We forge sacred communion with the divine organic matrix, the universal mind of all that is, which is naturally aligning with a bliss state. Answers, creative impulses and ideas, they all come to us in this state. They don't come to us at a subsistence or survival, instinctual level state of living. They just don't. All we're worried about in that state of being is how to survive, how to get by, how do I get through this next hour, how do I get through this day? You are cut off and veiled from creativity and imagination at that level. When you're in the superconscious state and you're soul streaming, you are flowing into the God's eye view or vantage point of perception. You shift beyond the cyclical nature of time that imprints endless repetitive cycles and patterns of division, want, separation, disconnection, duality on the history of humanity, and cuts us off from our true creative impulses as divine creator beings. We can ground into the sacred connection of Mother Earth in a much more powerful way. And that seems counterintuitive when you think about putting your level of consciousness out there and up there, whatever. We feel like we're further away from Mother Earth. But you are never not connected to your body as a filter for this soul stream of awareness, for this superconscious perception. It is only through the body that is connected symbiotically to Mother Earth that you can have this experience of going into the superconscious realms, the unexplored realms. So it actually creates a deeper connection with Mother Earth, and it allows us to see where we're out of integrity with the energies of Mother Earth and to heal and repair those wounds. And a lot of what is happening on Mother Earth, these are old wounds that are in dire need of repair. And just as we need to prepare ourselves for ascension, we can help Mother Earth and keep helping her prepare for ascension. And this is only by healing our connection with her. And connecting into the superconscious states, more creativity and imagination comes in for how to do that. Okay? We can restore our intuitive acumen. Having intuitive acuity is sure how you access the superconscious realm, but it's also how you build that muscle of your intuition. You increase your intuitive acuity and you bring it back to the level of integrity that we had before the wave of creation that we're in now that ushered in the technology of AI. This has disenfranchised us greatly from our connection with Mother Earth, from our connection with nature. It has brought us into a place of dominion where we feel Earth is something we dominate instead of live in tandem with and live in a symbiotic relationship with. We negate our own nature and where we come from, because we come from the elements and trace minerals of this earth. Our body in 3D comes from that. And we've been taught to, instead of living in communion with that, dominate it, plunder the earth for all of its resources, minerals, etc. We restore that connection to the ancient wisdom of Mother Earth and all its abundant resources when we have our intuitive acuity intact. And we have the ability, when we go into the superconscious, to imprint new holograms, essentially. We have the ability as divine creator beings and the keepers of 3D. We are creating our reality here all the time. We are the creators and keepers of 3D. But we've been limited and truncated, cut off from creativity and imagination that includes the wholeness and wellness of all. And we've looked at manifesting and materializing our reality from a very contracted state where it's about me, 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 me. We can imprint new reality holograms from the universal energy matrix that include our divine creator status, so that everyone's needs are met, not just the needs of the few, but the needs of the many. This allows us to opt out of the false heaven of 4D, the artificial creation matrix, which has largely created our reality here on 3D Earth, and we can see where that's gotten us. So that's just the short list of all the things that happen with superconscious perception. So I want you guys to have an experience of this soul streaming for those of you that are still here. Thank you, Heidi. She says, I love how you explain this so eloquently. Beautiful. I'm glad. So I want to give you a sense of soul streaming. We're not going to do the breath work here because the breath work requires that you sign a waiver, basically, or agree to the terms and conditions. So I'm not going to do the breath work with you as a practice unless you're working with me privately or unless you're working with me in the group program of ESP, which starts May 27th. So we're going to shift to our superconscious worldview. So if you don't have water, I would get some. If you're listening to this while you're driving, I would leave this part for later, okay? Because we're going into a guided experience here. And this is just going to take a couple of minutes. So right off the bat, if you are in a place today where you have a negative worldview, there's some part of you where you feel like you're cut off in some sort of limitation, you feel contracted in your energy, just take a moment to just realize it. You can still go ahead with this guided meditation. Hi, Janine. But I would like you to just take a breath and go into that. Any kind of despair or sadness that you're feeling, I want you to just take a deep breath. Put your hands on your heart. And just send yourself love. It's okay that you feel this way. Give yourself permission to feel this way. It's there for a reason. It has some lesson for you. It has some gift in the garbage, as I always like to say, to share with you. And it's only and ever showing you where you are out of alignment with Source. So where is this thing you're experiencing right now showing you that you're out of alignment with Source? From that Source level of being, just give it love. You can send it breath, send it light. It's okay. It's okay that you feel this way. It's okay that you feel anger. It's okay that you feel sadness. It's okay that you're mad at the world. It's okay that you're mad at yourself or another person. But it's also okay to be able to change that at the drop of a hat and send it love and mercy and forgiveness and compassion and understanding. Because you as a creator being have all the power to change what you're feeling at any given time. And if this feels too big, reach for the next best available emotion. It's usually gratitude. Be thankful that you stumbled on this place here today with me, where we could share some time to upgrade our frequency together. Be thankful that you're somewhere where the weather is nice or the sun is shining, or that your hair is on point today, or that your kids are behaving today, or that you have your kitty on your lap. There's always something to be grateful for. And reaching for the next best available vibration is usually through gratitude. So just go ahead and do that. And feel how your frequency just kind of shifts. And how that opens a place within you where you felt closed off in your heart before. Now it feels a little more open and expanded. And anywhere you've got this involvement with negativity right now, just go ahead and suspend it for the time being. Allow yourself this time to upgrade your frequency, to give this moment to yourself, to heal, to be in flow. This is a very feminine energy working with the soul stream because you must be receptive in this place. So in order to be receptive, suspend any of that feeling of being out of alignment with Source right now. You can always come back to it after this is over. So just sit quietly. Again, if you're driving, bag this and come back to it later, please. Just sit quietly. Go ahead and close your eyes. You don't have to do anything except listen to the sound of my voice. Just focus on the breath easily coming in through the nose and out. And focus into the center of your head, just right in the center of your skull. Just focus your energy there. Just breathe regularly, in and out. Be aware that you are in the here and now. You are present. And the more you drop into the now, the more you stream in the eternal now, the place of omnipresence. All events drop into one singular, eternal now moment. There is no separation. There is no fragmentation. There is no hesitation. It is all now, everywhere, everything at once. It's all right here in front of you. Or you're right in the middle of it. Just imagine a being of really shiny, shiny diamond light just above the top of your head, or if it's more comfortable, just behind you. Just a light being, and you can imagine it as an orb of light, a portal of light, a column of light. And just invite this shiny diamond light in. And just feel it gently merging and melting into your energy. And as this light being fills you, all tension dissolves. Any emotions or feelings or thoughts that are putting you out of alignment with Source rejoins that alignment for you with Source. And this being is your divine God self, your soul self. You are connected to infinite wisdom, infinite possibilities, knowledge, probabilities, realities. It's all right here. And just merge your current reality with this point of view of self, of the soul self. As you feel this merging of this energy, gently scan your body, starting at the top of the head. And you could say, my head is my soul's head. My face is my soul's face. My neck, my shoulders are my soul's shoulders. Just feel it fully as you keep bringing this down through the body. My heart is my soul's heart. Let my God self, my soul self, show me how to take a stand in this world, to be empowered in this world. Today, let my soul self show me how to make contact with this earth in a more powerful way, in a way it feels more like home, in a way where I feel more safe and secure and stable. May my soul self transmit divine energy into the planet through my legs that are my soul's legs, through my feet that are my soul's feet. And may I carry forward the divine intent of the unified field through me, through my soul, through my body. My soul, show me how I can be whole and complete. In any moment I choose to feel in full alignment with Source. Show me how I am a divine vehicle to share my soul's truth with the world. My vitality and power is my soul's vitality and power. May my soul today show me how to express this and where to apply it so I can influence others as an agent of Source. My heart is my soul's heart. My will is my soul's will. My path is my soul's path. My destiny is my soul's destiny. My gifts are my soul's gifts. My hands are my soul's hands. My creativity is my soul's creativity. Let my soul show me how to reach out, how to help, how to be creative for myself and the highest good of all. My voice is my soul's voice. My written word is my soul's written word. My promise and my commitment is my soul's promise and commitment. My communication is what my soul wants me to say. Show me how to direct that with truth and beauty. My ears are my soul's ears. May I hear the world the way my soul hears it. That's my favorite. A very clear audience, so that's my favorite. May I understand the real messages coming to me through others that are from their soul's expression. May my soul show me that everyone communicates through their soul being, even when that's not in integrity. It just shows that being is out of contrast with their soul self. You know that's not who they really are. Let my mind be my soul's mind. May I be shown the way to perceive, the way to make God choices, the way to release that which puts me out of alignment with God and Source and soul being. Let my soul perceive the world through me. Let my soul perceive the world through me. And let me perceive the world through my soul. Just gently pull your energy back now. You can imagine bringing that beautiful diamond light being down through the body and centering that into the iron crystalline core of the earth, into the heart of the earth. And just grounding yourself here. I am grounded. I am grounded. I am grounded. And just feel this connection. Take a deep breath in and out. And just feel how different your energy is now. And please drink some water. If you don't have some with you, make sure you drink some after this call. On a cellular level, you were burning through a lot of energy there. Essentially, you were burning through resistance of anywhere you say, I am not that, I am not my soul. You were burning through that barrier and that block and that resistance. So how does your energy feel now? That kind of wake you up out of the sleep of reality of whatever has happened in your day so far, to make you numb to your soul being? You feel the difference now versus when we first started that meditation? I hope so. I certainly hope so. So I hope this helped and allowed you to bring in that feeling that you're always right at the level of help and assistance. You're right there. It's right there. It just takes you, this knowing takes you to have this knowing that you are so much bigger than this manifested 3D you, which is only a snapshot of the eternal soul's point of view in terms of how you connect to the whole unified field, how you are connected to the whole unified field. Anything that we're experiencing in this illusory reality, although even though 3D reality is illusory, it doesn't mean it can't be instructive. Because there's this, in this realm of contrast, so much information and wisdom being shared with us of where we are out of alignment with Source, where we are living in contrast and duality, a dualized state, opposing Source, keeping it at arm's length from us. And so this 3D reality, it's not bad, it's actually incredibly instructive. If we are in this soul's point of view first, and then looking at that, we can see that, right? And so do you see how you might feel differently now about things that have transpired in your day already? Or maybe a person you had an altercation with, or, you know, something that you did or kicked yourself for earlier today. You're like, I gotta let myself off the hook for that. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter that much, right? It's not that big of a deal. It was all contrast to show you where you are out of alignment with Source. And so for those of you who are interested in ESP, Elevated Superconscious Perception Masterclass, I can give you like a quick and dirty definition of what is going to happen. These haven't been fully filled in yet. I haven't fully filled in the cracks yet, but there's going to be 5 weeks in this program. Intro to the superconscious, the 4 levels of consciousness that we touched on here today, but we'll go into that in a lot more depth. And our first journey into the superconscious without breath work. And then the second class is going to be going into the transpersonal states through soul stream, dynamic breath work, and connecting to the superconscious. We're going to release trapped emotions. This is an opportunity to love and trust yourself more through unifying disconnected parts of self. You're going to release a lot of anxiety. This is going to be a place to release grief. So those of you who have anxiety and grief to release and stress to release, this is definitely something that's going to be great for you. You're going to want to review the contraindications for doing the breath work that will be part of this course. If you can't agree to that, I don't recommend you signing up for this program. I just want everybody to be safe. That's the level of integrity that I like to conduct this work with. I take your safety very, very, it's very sacred to me, you know, and I want everybody to be safe. So if you have contraindications, reach out to me. I'll let you know what those are, and if this program is for you. The third module is going to be understanding the cosmic hologram, communicating with the non-dual realms, and soul streaming. 4 is going to be deeper discovery, deeper healing, more soul stream, breath work, contacting remote realms through the soul's point of view for deeper healing. A lot of people will have past life experiences, but those are really parallel lifetime experiences. And not just parallel realities, but supernormal realities, or where you are a soul occupying space, time in a different dimensional realm or galaxy or star system. And then 5 is imprinting new reality holograms to heal ourselves and heal the earth. This is going to be a powerful way to understand, yeah, a little bit of manifesting, but in a whole different context. To call it manifesting would be incredibly myopic. It's so much more than that. So this is going to be a little bit spiritually advanced work. If you've done breath work before, you'll kind of understand what this is about. It is going to be really powerful and transformative. 5 weeks together on Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll start on the 27th of May. So the last day to get $111 off this course is tomorrow. So if you want to get $111 off and get it for $444 instead of $555, you're going to want to join tonight, at the very latest tomorrow by 3 o'clock Pacific time. Okay? So thanks so much for being here. I'm glad that feels great and peaceful for you, Janine. That's wonderful to hear. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Mwah. Love and peace.